3, 2, 1.
Here we go! Hey everybody, Brandon Peterson here, CEO of Geokey. We have Brent Wijnberg, the general manager over at Smartlox in Australia. We've just teamed up in a great partnership to bring smart access control to Australia and New Zealand. So Brent, thanks for jumping on today and talking to our audience here about why we're teaming up.
Thanks, Brandon. It's great to be here. Great to finally be at this position.
It's good. We've had a lot of conversations leading up to this, but why don't we talk about a little bit about the history of your guys' company and what's brought you to this today?
Yeah, thanks. Our business is called Smartlox here in Australia and New Zealand, and it's recently formed business really for the purposes of supporting smart access solutions, including Geokey, into this market. You know, there's three founders in this business. We've always had a passion for technology. We always love solutions where there's a hardware and a services component to it. And we have a lot of strong networks and a lot of strength across the logistics, agriculture, and mining spaces here in Australia and New Zealand and further afield. And so once we sort of came across smart padlocks and smart access and the platforms to manage it, we just thought, well, this is great. It's not too many steps ahead, not that people don't understand it. It's just innovative enough that it will get the old slow movers thinking here's an avenue to sort of innovate. And so that's why we love it. And we've been active in this space now for at least the last 18 months, and we're going from there. We plan to build and get bigger and better and expand and have thousands, hundreds of thousands of these solutions out there.
That's awesome. So you're going into these very niche markets, agricultural, mining, logistics, like you were talking about. You're having a lot of conversations with these business owners. Why are they in such need of smart technology?
Well, so, to go back a step, the reason why we're going into these sort of like, niche markets, although in Australia, they're not that niche, agriculture and mining and logistics are very big industries here. To probably say, first of all, we're not going after the traditionally highly competitive markets of going into the big city and trying to compete for the tallest building and getting a fob for every door. Because of our background, we love the remote, the sort of industrial application, and we think that that across agriculture and mining, logistics, and some of these remote locations, that they tend to get a bit neglected when it comes to evolving solutions for access control. So, a great example of that is, we speak to a lot of regional councils out in the countries, local government associations, and whilst they might have one or two office buildings that have some fobs and access on doors, they have hundreds, if not thousands, of locks and access points, all remotely scattered. And in order for them to digitize in those spaces, traditionally they would have to find power to that site or put up some solar panels and have a very complex solution. And some of these guys are just really not ready at this point in time to go through that level of innovation. But being able to quickly remove a padlock, put a new one on that's digital, and then have that control on the back end is something that's very appealing to them. So we like to sell things where that first discussion, people are really interested in what you have to say. I love to walk away from meetings and then never being a bad meeting, and then it's just up to what you do next. Like, how do we get this in there? Because everybody wants it. It's just the challenge is, how do we get from there to getting it in there?
And you guys are, you're very fascinated with technology, you're educated in technology. And, one of the ways you found us was through one of our partners and your partners, Geokey. And Geokey makes very high-end padlocks, industrial made padlocks, controllers that can control gates and all of the likes. So we were both naturally drawn to them. But what brought you to Geokey, in your opinion, that you felt like it would make a good fit for us together?
A good ex-colleague and friend of mine now said, people do business with people. People don't do business with businesses. I think we were looking for a robust back end to go on top of the Geokey hardware, and we were aware that there were a couple out there. We had a few conversations, but I think it was just the first phone call we had with you guys, and to be brutally honest, I think it was 3 or 4 conversations in before we even took a look at the back end. We might have even signed the agreement by then. I think we're just we want to do business with people who we get on with and who are like-minded in what they're doing, and we were confident, regardless of what it looked like, that we had found the right people who were also motivated to win and succeed. And so that's where we're at. That's great.
We felt the same way. From a very genuine aspect, all of our meetings were, you got to meet our sales teams and our support teams and operations team, and we got to meet yours. And from day one, you guys always talked about experience and support and creating the best technology through that. And that's the core values of Geokey, good experience, good support. And we felt the same way from day one with you guys. And I like that you mentioned that, we signed the agreement. It wasn't until 4 meetings in until we saw the software. And that's great. And because people, buy from people, right? And good people.
And to be honest, we know that the markets in which we're selling into, it would be silly of us to assume that somewhere out there exists the perfect ready-made solution that will go and service those markets right now, today, to exactly what they want. We need to educate those markets. We need to take the learnings from those markets, and then we will have, and at least what we know today is we've got a strong, robust system in Geokey that we can implement there now. So I can go and meet with somebody and I could say, tomorrow I could give you 1,000 locks and a back-end platform that will be robust, and it will be able to control who's going in, who's going out with that audit trail. Our goal is then to work with those organizations over the next sort of 6, 12, 18, 24 months, and then come back to you and work with Geokey to say, okay, well, how do we expand on this? How do we make this more tailored to what they want? And without going too deep, we like to keep focused on what we're doing. We don't want to turn into a professional services bespoke development house, but yeah, so that's really it. And I think that's where the personability of the business that we're doing business with is core. If we feel like we can openly come to you and say, hey, we really need this sort of feature built in because that will help in this market. We would only say that from genuine experience, and we're pretty confident that you guys would say, right, we trust you, and we'll build that into our roadmap.
That's great. So your team is, I've met everybody on your team, and they, they're fantastic, super knowledgeable. But can you go into a little more in depth on your team and the knowledge and the background you guys have that these clients will trust you guys as you're recommending smart solutions for them and new technology?
Yeah, I mean, as young as we are, and as we look, we've got between the 3 of us, and we're all of a similar age. We've all been playing in the technology space across logistics, agriculture, mining for 10 to 15 years each, and so we're geographically well spread. Australia is a big country. I'm here on the east coast in Canberra and covering sort of a New South Wales area. We've got Mirza, he's down in Victoria, and we've got Steve over in sunny Perth. And so we've got a really good spread of being able to support the entire country. And because of our background and experience, we've all worked in high tech, with Caterpillar dealers, with bespoke technology, selling into the logistics space, very niche things, very innovative stuff. We built channels, we've built customers, and we've taken technologies from having sold nothing to having sold, millions and millions of dollars worth of them. And so, combined with that, our focus was always on our partners, our distributors, and also our end customers. And so, we still have a pretty big sort of Rolodex of people who we can sort of just call up today and go in and chat to. And because we've done a good job for them in the past, they'll trust us to do a good job for them again. And also, I probably add this: we're not going knocking on their doors every 2 weeks with a different technology. So we're not that sort of that type of sales organization. We're really only calling on them when we think we have something that will suit them and meet their requirements.
That's great. You talked about the niche verticals that you're going into. What would you say to some of these people who are a little bit hesitant on the innovative technology that we're talking about with Geokey and the padlocks and smart padlocks and so on?
Yeah, I think based on a few of the conversations I've had today, it's I haven't seen a lot of hesitation to get into this space, but remembering that in a lot of instances where we go and put in a Geokey system and some Noki padlocks, that we're replacing a 10, 20-year-old master key system provided from sort of locksmiths, and which is a very, for the most part, traditional old industry. And although those industries have been changing and have been advancing in technology, the challenge is not in people accepting that they want to bring technology in. The challenge is in making it as simple to bring that technology in than it is to just have a set of keys. Because truly, apart from driving around to pick up the keys and drop them off with somebody, it's not that hard to put a key in a lock and open it. And it's actually pretty reliable once you have the key. It's all the other pieces on the back end that's a big concern to them. It's who has the key? How many keys do we have? And actually, how many locks do we have? These are questions that a lot of these guys actually don't know. And locks and keys in a lot of these really big organizations are not centrally managed for the most part. There is generally no key master or lock master within an organization who has visibility of all of this. And so it's a great space, and I think they're hungry to advance from a technology perspective in that area.
Yeah, I would say, to even go further on that, the advanced security measures, being able to track and everything, all three industries, they've got human capital they need to protect, but then they also have inventory and machinery and those types of things that they're not cheap. And to be able to know who's going into certain areas and accessing different types of equipment or what have you, it's imperative that it's secure and who's going in and out. And that's and I love that we're bringing that to the Australian and New Zealand markets with this.
The way we see what we want to achieve over the next sort of 5 years is right now, and this is from our experience and the way we've sold sort of innovative tech before, is right now when we go and present to people, we're sort of focused heavily on the problem, the things we're trying to solve, like security, the traceability, who has it. So we've got to educate on that, and then we've got to educate on the fact that there's a solution for that. It's called smart access and digital Bluetooth padlocks and back-end systems like Geokey. And then we have to educate them that we have the solution and this is the best solution for them. We want to get from that to in 5 years' time, where we walk into a business and we say, we're from Smartlox, and 80% of all your neighboring councils or organizations are using Smartlox, and they go, great, where do I sign? So we want to really shorten that educational piece. And so there is a big education up front, but we want to get beyond that to the point where we're the recognized brand for smart access in these types of environments.
That's great. And you guys are already on a good start of that. I mean, since your launch, you've already started out with some clients and working with customers. And what's the feedback you've been getting so far?
They're all happy. They're all really keen to explore. These are obviously, a lot of these clients right now are kind of early adopter clients. I don't like to read too much into what the first innovators say. I mean, they do love it, and we're piloting with a number of them, and it's definitely solving an issue for them. With one of them, they're driving 40 minutes to collect and sign out a key, to drive 40 minutes in the opposite direction to unlock something, and then 40 minutes back to sign in the key. And so, they have security around that key, and they do know who has the key and where the lock is, and that's great for them. But this eliminates all of that time, and with how much we pay people here in Australia to drive backwards and forwards is something that probably would prefer not to be paying somebody for. So, the customers that we have today are really happy with it. They're looking at it, and we're in that sort of really exciting early stage where they see the application for it. They're excited by what they can do with it today, but then their minds start going wild about, wouldn't it be cool if we could do it for this? Or wouldn't it be cool if we could do it here, or great here? And, even we get sucked up in the hype, and then often have to go, hang on. Let's just do it for what it does right now. And then we can explore that later.
We get new feature requests a lot, but that's good. It's about listening and doing that. But ultimately, it's solving the problems that they have at hand right now. If it's traveling, and having, it's fully cloud-based management. I mean, to access Geokey and their access to all these different things right from their phone, tablet, or laptop, that's phenomenal for them. Not to mention the aspect of offline management. Some areas are remote where they're not having as much, don't have service in certain areas. To be able to still use smart technology in those areas, that's pretty powerful stuff.
And it's a big challenge it's a big challenge in Australia. I mean, we have some very remote areas. We have some pretty harsh environments with some, extreme heat. And so to find a really durable bit of hardware that will survive out there, and a robust back-end platform where somebody can drive out and not be connected and still sort of utilize what is essentially almost a type of IoT technology is great for them. So.
That's great. So if anybody's watching this and they wanted to get in touch with you because they're interested, what is the process of getting onboarded, and how do you guys handle new clients?
Well, it's pretty easy to get in touch with us. We have a website, which is smartlox.com.au, and we have a phone number on there, and an email, hello@smartlox.com.au. So we like to be responsive. Our reason for existing as a business is that whilst cool technology exists in all different parts of the world, having spent a lot of time in Australia and selling cool technology into Australia, we know that businesses in Australia will appreciate somebody who can come and visit with them and sit down and have a face-to-face discussion about that tech, and also support it locally. And so that's where we really pride ourselves in, that we want to be personable business. We want to provide them a localized support. As great as the support from Geokey is, it's highly responsive. People want to know that there's somebody in their time zone that they can call and we can help them out. And so really that's our focus here. It's like we can take these cool, innovative technologies, but it's really about, boots on the ground and service this market, and, contracting in this market and signing a contract with an Australian business. People like that these days.
It's important to have that relationship.
It seems it's unusual, and that it's especially in a post-COVID world, that sort of this sovereign capability is really high on a lot of people's priority lists.
Yeah. Well, you guys do a great job, and on behalf of everyone at Geokey, we are thrilled to be partnered with everyone at Smartlox, with you and everyone at Smartlox, and anybody who's watching this right now. If you're interested in Geokey and the applications of unlocking in the Australian or New Zealand area, please contact Smartlox. Brent here and his team are going to take care of you, and we're happy to bring you into the future with smart access control. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, exciting times. It's onward and upward, huh?